Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are doing fine and are safe at home. So guys, today's topic is why are my succulent leaves turning brown? Now guys, the most common reason for brown leaves on succulents is either sunburn or sun damage. If you have recently moved your succulent to a bright location without acclimating it, then you might notice a lot of leaves will start turning brown. This is because of sun damage or sunburn. So these sunburns or these brown spots will not actually harm the succulent, but it will leave a permanent mark on the leaves. Now these spots will also not fade off, but as and when the succulent starts to grow, these leaves might tend to get hidden between the new growth. Now, overall, as I said, that it is not going to harm the succulent, but the overall aesthetic look of the succulent will not be very pleasing because of all those burnt and brown leaves. So even in the last video, which was on propagation of leaves, I advised you to place them in a cool shaded area. That is because even our small baby succulents or newly propagated plants are more susceptible to sunburn as compared to the mature adult succulents. So the only solution is, as soon as you start noticing that your leaves are getting burnt or are turning brown, you'll have to immediately move them away from the source of heat. You'll have to move them away from the direct sunlight and place them in a cool shaded area which receives indirect bright sunlight. So guys, the common reason for sunburn or sun damage, one of the reason is acclimation. Guys, if you have not acclimated your succulent properly and you have directly exposed it to sun, even if it's morning sun, which is mild, even then the succulent leaves can get burnt or can get damaged. So we will be talking about acclimation in the later part of the video in detail, and I will show you how you can acclimate your succulents. But before that, there is another common reason why succulents get burnt. The reason is when there is water left behind on the leaves. Now we have already spoken about not watering the leaves. Do not water on the leaves or avoid splashing water on the leaves. Now this is a perfect example. Now you can see that there are burn marks on the leaves. Now this spot was kept in full direct morning sunlight, but unfortunately the rain droplets happened to fall on these leaves. Now, because this succulent arrangement was so compact, it was very difficult to find or identify the water that was still left on the leaves. Now, when the sunlight happened to fall on these leaves, wherever the water was present, it started to burn the succulent leaves. You can see the scars are so aesthetically not pleasing when it comes on the succulents. Now this is exactly what's going to happen if the water stays on the succulent leaves and the sun tends to fall on them. Now, however, these scars have been hidden because a lot of new growth have started on the succulent, and as I already said that these scars will not affect the overall health of the succulent, but yes, aesthetically it is going to make the succulent look little bad, but overall it won't harm. You can see that the succulent is growing very well. Now guys, this is a picture of another succulent. Now when you look at the succulent in the first instance, you'll feel that this succulent is rotting. However, this succulent is not rotting, but this is also a form of sun damage, or you can say sunburn. Now on this succulent there was no water droplets that fell, but this was because this kind of succulent is a very sensitive succulent that does not like too much of sun, but unfortunately it received full direct afternoon sun. Now guys, this succulent was only receiving morning sunlight until 11 in the morning, after which there was a shade kept over this which was protecting it from the afternoon sun. But due to the recent rains and it got very windy and the shade happened to fall off, which went unnoticed. Now within 2 to 3 days this succulent started to get roasted in the afternoon sun, because all this while, because of the shade, it was only receiving sunlight until 11 in the morning. But when the shade went missing, the succulent started receiving sunlight until 1 in the afternoon. So as soon as I noticed that the succulent was getting roasted in the afternoon sun, I quickly moved it to a cool shaded area. Now you can see that the crown area is growing. You can see there is a lot of new growth, but the older leaves have been damaged by the sun. Now, unfortunately, those leaves are going to remain permanent with those scars, but the new leaves that will be growing will be much healthy and won't have those scars. Now it's okay, it's not going to harm your succulent even if those leaves are left like that, because the new growth will eventually cover up those scars and it won't be much visible how it is right now. But as you can see what the afternoon or the harsh sun can do. Now this succulent was acclimated even then because it received the harsh afternoon sun. That's the state of the succulent. Now you can imagine if your succulent was not acclimated, the situation could have been much worse. Now, what exactly is acclimation? Now, acclimation is a process of getting adjusted to a new climate or a new condition. Now, guys, here is a succulent called as Sedum adolphi. Now, you can see this succulent is uh, damaged to quite an extent because this succulent was not acclimated. It was kept in a shaded area for a very long time and then it was exposed to direct sunlight. Now you can see to what extent those leaves have been fried and have almost got roasted. Now the entire appearance of the succulent looks very bad, and the most bad part is that these leaves are going to remain like this. These scars will always stay on the succulent. So overall the succulent is damaged to quite an extent. But if we look closer to the stem area, we can see there is a pup. Now this pup was not damaged at all because it was being shaded by the mother succulent. Hence, even though the succulent pup was fragile, but it didn't receive any kind of damage. So guys, with this you will be able to understand that how important acclimation is. Now guys, this is Echeveria prolifica. You can see this succulent was also burnt because it was exposed to sun without acclimation. But the one next to it has not received much burns. Now that's because this succulent has a lot of farina and it has protected this succulent compared to the other succulent. But this succulent is kept in the shade right now, so you can see there is a lot of new growth on the crown area. But yes, the leaves were damaged to quite an extent. So once again, the farina has saved the succulent to quite an extent. The damage is quite minimum compared to the other succulent that didn't have much farina on it. So now that we know that it's very important to acclimate a succulent, let's learn how to acclimate it. So let's assume that this pot of Echeveria succulent has been in the shaded area for a long time and now it needs to be acclimated. So you're going to move the succulent pot from the shade into morning sunlight only for 1 hour. Now once the 1 hour is done, you're going to get it back again to the shaded area and wait for the next day. Now on the next day, that is day 2, you're again going to place your succulent in the sun, but this time you're going to place it for 2 hours. Once your 2 hours have been completed, you will get the succulent back again to the shaded area. So guys, this is going to continue until a week or maybe more. You keep increasing the hour day by day and then you keep getting it back into the shaded area. Once you know that the succulent has been acclimated after a couple of days, then you can leave the succulent in full morning sun for a longer period of time. So guys, I hope that now you know why your succulent leaves turn brown and why it's important to acclimate your succulents. So if you found this video to be helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. Until then, as usual, take care, stay safe, bye bye.